I've got a good meal for you today, lads. Yes, indeed, another series from Calamity, this time against Berserk. Both very strong players. We're going to start with the best of three's first game today. Be sure to tune in for the rest of the week as I release the rest of the series. Yeah, we'll see. Best of three. Will it go to all three games? First, the first battle. We've got Ogres versus Chaos Dwarfs. And we've got some man-eaters here. A pistol, Regiment of Renown, and then a couple of man-eaters' gray weapons. Scrag leading the way. A couple of lead belchers as well. Pigbacks plus Noblars. Plus some blood vultures up in the sky. Yeah, the lead belchers should be pretty good, although a Berserk here playing the Chaos Dwarfs does take quite a bit of Hobgoblin Archers, which are an interesting choice here, but they do trade very well counter-shooting against things like lead belchers and the man-eater ogre pistols, which, you know, if they can get close, obviously. Right now they're getting significantly outranged, but front line of Chaos Dwarf Warriors currently getting blasted. We've got some laborers as well, the orc laborers in quotations. Demon's Tongue, Regiment of Renown, Iron Demon, Hell Cannon in the back. You can see another Chaos Warrior detaches to protect there. Very dwarven move here. Overall, very dwarven build, given a relative lack of mobility. We do have one Castellan as well, which can be pretty solid. Right now, the Powder Guts are actually using their Regiment of Renown accuracy to pop him with their pistols. Actually, are one of the rare ogre units that are going to be accurate enough to consistently hit him. You see him taking some shots there, and he is returning fire, doing a little bit of chip damage, but certainly being out DPS'd by the full unit of Powder Guts. But let's see. Scrag going to push, trying to counter Chariot, basically. Chariot action of the train here is going to roll through, do some damage, roll on back. Excellent Chariot play by Berserk. Still is taking some damage from the Powder Guts as they switch to try to shoot it off the field. That is going to save the Castellan for the time being, allow him to do some damage. In return, some Wolf Raiders in the back here have been hidden in the vanguard, swooping out, trying to cut down those lead belchers. At least they're going to pressure them forward into more of the range of the archers, but archers have largely been disrupted by blood vultures. Berserk's doing a good job trying to screen here with whatever he can. He's got some laborers still in the back line, screening a few units here. Pulls the Demon's Tongue to screen this unit here. But yeah, definitely some significant losses on both sides. The Wolf Raiders do land. Managed to find some lead belchers here. Of course, the Pigbacks, they're anti-large, are going to ride on over and try and push away these Wolf Raiders, but not before they're able to rout the lead belchers. Shots from the Hell Cannon also landing there. Right now, some blood vultures kind of just hanging back, but quite a bit of resources being used to protect the Hell Cannon there, which definitely, I mean, how much of a difference is one Dwarf Warrior going to actually make in this frontline engagement? Hard to say. But some Pigbacks following up, chasing some archers in the back lines. Great situation for the Ogres, while the frontline engagement is going relatively poorly. That being said, the man-eaters' great weapons are both still doing okay. Scrag's also somewhat overextended, but not actually under that much threat right now, as he kind of duels the Iron Demon. Ooh, nice satisfying charge there by these man-eaters. Clubbing through Hobgoblin Archers. A little net going to be used by Jatan the Black. Running around on foot here. Yeah, non-AP damage, but still, there's plenty of non-AP targets. In fact, I don't really think Ogres really brought anything. Maybe they had one cavalry unit. No, not really. Not a lot of heavy armor at all in this build, so it makes sense not necessarily to invest in the armor-piercing damage, but yeah, man-eaters, Powder Guts kind of get forced up onto the Iron Demon here. The archers are going to pour in some shots, but very quickly, the charge of the Pigbacks into the flank, supported by blood vultures, should be able to shut them down pretty quickly, but a nice direct hit there. That man-eater falls as he is smashed by Hell Cannon shot, and Terror kicking in, pushing away the Pigback Knights. Demon Tongue here, Berserk doing a good job kind of going to support, trying to fight where he has a chance of, you know, maybe winning and helping out, you know, these other units. Get a Terror route, allow those laborers to kind of clean up in this melee engagement here, get on the lead belchers. But right now, Ogres are starting to pull ahead on the balance of power, and in terms of the real battlefield as well. Hell Cannon's using up quite a bit of its ammunition left. It'll probably be able to finish off few more of these powder guts, but due to their leadership, even just a couple of them hanging around can apply still some leadership penalties at the very least. Other like block of man-eaters here also still very healthy. If you take the 2 units kind of in combination, it basically makes 1 full unit of man-eaters, right, in terms of HP, with some more Noblars and support there as well. Yeah, the Castellan, Jatan getting caught as Demon Sung continues to try and pull away. Hasn't really been able to use its shooting much here. It's mostly just been dedicated to fighting in melee. But we'll see. Maybe it's going to swing up here and try and fight. Honestly, all these single entities should go up and try and at least fight with this Chaos Dwarf Warrior to give some kind of infantry support presence. The AP of the Man-Eaters will do just fine against them, but it's better than nothing. Better than getting surrounded. Maybe. Jatan doesn't really care too much, seems like, about being surrounded. Still got quite a bit of melee defense, despite his decreased vigor. His exhaustion is starting to take hold, but the pigbacks... the Iron Demon does fire on the move a little bit, but it hasn't actually used up much of its ammunition, because it hasn't been in a position to do so. But here, it might actually just... yeah, it looks like it's going to peel, maybe go for the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, try and get in range for support. Definitely the right call at this point. Hell Cannon has been protected long enough to use up all of its ammunition, which is quite impressive. Yeah, over 2100 damage value there on that shot, which is quite a bit. But this is an interesting fight here because the Castellan and Jatan fighting together are actually more than a match for Scrag. The Castellan does have a small anti-large bonus and just overall pretty tanky. Pigbacks aren't really going to be contributing meaningfully in this engagement. Yeah, only +5 bonus versus large really just applies +5 melee attack more than anything in a single entity fight. But yeah, the Man-Eaters choose to peel back, smartly not taking that melee engagement until, you know, what remains of the gun units of the Ogres are going to use whatever ammunition they have left. Finish off the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Meanwhile, speaking of using ammunition, Demon Sung going to come over here and permanent those pigback riders, get them off the field. Now for the final engagement. Yeah, the Man-Eater's just going to actually not even give an engagement here. They're going to note back. Maybe the other Man-Eaters get a flank charge here. Not necessarily charging directly into the face, but Chaos Dwarf Warriors do have charge defense against large, but they're going to route to army losses nonetheless. As, yeah, once the Man-Eaters, another Man-Eater unit comes over here, that's enough punch to get rid of these characters. And that will be a victory for the Ogres. So we'll have to check out the rest of the series. But it's definitely a fun one to start things off. Wild battle for sure. Interesting to see, again, a very dwarf-like build. Just a little bit of light cavalry here. And the mobility chariot, I guess, which ultimately doesn't end up quite paying for itself. I mean, I forget how much the Regiment Noun is. It's not maybe around about 1500, right? I forget. Anyway, 16,000 damage dealt. Pretty good stuff overall. 15,000 also from the Hell Cannon at 2100 gold value. Very, very effective. The Hobgoblin Archers also pretty good across the board. A couple of them didn't quite pay out, but generally do a nice job here. The ranked up laborers also mostly trade cost effectively. Yeah, ultimately just not quite being able to finish off those Man-Eaters. Yeah, the disruption on the ranged units was enough, even though they did a pretty decent job. The Vultures and everything else here. Yeah, 4 Vultures, plus like the counter shooting, was able to, you know, pigbacks, get some flanking maneuvers as well. Was able to shut down archers in a meaningfully enough way. They didn't get quite enough value what they needed to against these key ranged units. And that is definitely a consideration of this equation, is that the Ogres ranged units do outrange. You know, Hobgoblin Archers a pretty significant degree. I do agree with this volume approach, though. You know, just try and get close. And, you know, you have some long-range damage as well to try and apply pressure to these units at even greater distance. So it's definitely an interesting build for Berserk. I do like it quite a bit, but ultimately Calamity was able to hold out, take home a win in that particular battle. Let's see if he can win the series. Be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.